What is up, you guys? This is Mini Superheroes Today.
And in today's video, we'll be taking a look at LEGO Set 4504, the Millennium Falcon Original Trilogy Edition. Now, this set came out in 2004. It came with 5 minifigures, as you can see along the bottom here. It had 985 pieces and retailed for $100 back in 2004. Now, on today's market, if you want to get this set sealed, you're going to be looking at well over $250, sometimes even as high as $500. I've seen. But if you're okay with getting this set open, maybe with or without the box, you could actually get it for a little bit over $100 on today's market. So it hasn't gone up too terribly much in value. However, I do think it is still one of the best Millennium Falcons we've gotten to date. So let's go ahead and start breaking this down. I want to show you guys the box, the instructions, the minifigures, and everything, since this set is 16 years old as of making this video, and I imagine a lot of people watching this may not have seen that kind of stuff. So let's start breaking it down. Alright, so as always with these older sets, I do want to go ahead and show you the box. So we've got this great Empire Strikes Back themed artwork where we see the Falcon leaving Echo Base, getting blasted out by a snowtrooper there, and this front part opens up, which is really cool. So up top here you can see some advertisements for the X-Wing and the TIE Bombers and TIE Fighters and things like that with the set numbers next to them. And then down here, it actually shows you all of the features of the set. Of course, we've got the minifigures, which we'll be taking a look at here in just a moment. Then we've got all of the scenes inside here, which just looks so fantastic. And then I think LEGO designed this in a way that you are supposed to keep the box, because it kind of opens outwardly like this. And then you can see everything inside. So I left some spare pieces in there. Of course, we've got the instruction manual. Here's what it looks like, just if you guys are curious at how the design has changed in these things. And then I always like to flip to the back of the instruction manual to see what they were advertising. So, winning some old Harry Potter sets and Clickets, if you remember those. Of course, more advertisements for Hoth-related sets, makes total sense. Here we've got that same ad that we saw up top, just kind of like reorganized. More Hoth stuff. So yeah, it's very, very cool. And then we've got a LEGO Star Wars website advertisement here. And then if we flip the whole box over, you can see what we're looking at right here. Then we could flip the whole box over and show you the back too. And there's even more set advertisements like Mos Eisley and things like that. Very, very cool. So it's a great looking set. Shows you some alternative builds even, which is so crazy. But it's a great looking set, and let's go ahead and take an even closer look. Alright, so now that we're back to the set, we'll start taking a look at the figures. And first off, we've got this great little snow trooper turret cannon here that's a really nice build. It's very fragile, but like I guess feeble is the better word maybe, but it reminds me of something that we would get in like an advent calendar nowadays. So pretty cool. And then breaking down these figures, let's just start taking a look at them. Up first, of course, is Han Solo with the old style hair. There's no face on the back, no back printing or anything like that. There's actually an accessory for him that's built into the set, but we'll take a look at that when we get the chance. He did have leg printing, something that was relatively uncommon back in this era of LEGO sets, much less for Star Wars, but it's a great nostalgic looking figure. Reminds me a lot of the old video games. Speaking of that, we've got Princess Leia. Now this is a great looking figure as well. She's got the custom molded hair, or rather exclusive molded hair. Once again, back in this era, double-sided heads rarely ever happen, so of course Leia doesn't have that. But we do have the Hoth suit with no printing on the back and no printing on the legs. Another very great figure. C-3PO is up next. Great torso printing, but not too much to say. He does have back printing, which again is relatively rare, so very, very cool. Here we've got the Snow Trooper, another great figure, definitely one that's aged well as far as nostalgia is concerned. He had an exclusively molded headpiece here, which is very cool, and a great looking figure overall. And then last but not least, we have Chewbacca. Now, this is a stand-in figure because the Chewbacca I got with my set is actually misprinted. You can see he doesn't have a nose printed on the front, his belt is printed the wrong way, and on the back of the head you can see that the nose is printed on the back. So it's pretty cool to get a misprint, but I pulled another Chewbacca from my collection just to show you what he should actually look like. So nothing too out of the ordinary there, and it looks really good. So let's start breaking down the set itself now. Alright, so now for the main event, the Falcon itself. I guess it's no secret that this thing is a pretty big set. It obviously barely even fits in my entire camera frame here, but it's very, very cool. It's definitely among my favorite Millennium Falcons to date, and let's start breaking it down. So you can see up top here, the top details, it's pretty plain, you know. There's a lot of gray bricks. The light bluish gray, of course, is the biggest one. We've got the radar dish right here. We've got a turret gun on top that spins and moves like this. And then this entire piece comes out, and there's actually a little gunner station in there. We'll take a look at everything, though, so don't worry. We'll get there. We do have these little disc pieces up here, up front, that give some detail, which is nice. There's 6 of them on the back here. We've got some nice fins there, and that's really great. So let's take a look at the underside just while we're here. You can see that there are some landing gears right here that are held up by, like, the table pieces. Now, I find that these are actually relatively fragile, so I'm not a huge fan of those. I think that those could be improved on, and they have with time, so that's a good thing. Sliding the Falcon around here, you can see that we obviously have the cockpit up front here. You can lift this off, and you can fit 2 minifigures up in the cockpit here. So this actually turns, too, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't really turn in the movie, but it's interesting for the Lego set. So before I put that on, there's what the cockpit looks like with the printed pieces. Very cool. We'll go ahead and slide that on, and let's go ahead and move the camera and take a look at some other angles of this set. I also realized that I didn't show you guys the back when I did the main video, so here's what the back looks like. We've got a Technic tube that runs the whole way along the back to give you the Falcon's, like, thruster, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so now we're looking at the inside, and it's no surprise that LEGO has always loved to do this open-up style Falcon where the roof pieces lift upward like this, but this was the first Millennium Falcon that actually ever had this feature, so it's pretty cool to look at and see how they innovated this back in the day, and all of these pieces, of course, move all the way back, so that'll give us our best look. Now, this large piece is kind of like the nose that comes down and fills out this front part here, which is cool. But then, well, you can see how fragile some of these old Lego sets are. In any case, up front here, there's a little case. Speaking of any case. And there's some goggles, binocular glasses in there that just sit right inside that front pouch there. We have a swiveling chair here, which you could put a figure in. We, of course, have the gaming board, which every Millennium Falcon has had to date, as far as I'm aware, which is very cool. Here, this little piece lifts up, and there's actually an escape pod in there, which is very cool. So the escape pod has some stickers along the side here, and then you can lift that off, and you can put a figure in there. You can actually put a couple figures in there, which is cool. Depends which figures and how you want to throw them in. If you want to seat them, you can fit less. If you just throw them in there, you could probably fit maybe 3 or 4 figures. In any case, sliding this around, just being careful here, because like I said, these older sets are somewhat fragile. So sliding this around, you can see there's a hyperdrive sticker right here, which is kind of interesting that it's written in English, since the English language isn't written in Star Wars, but we do have a hyperdrive build back here. We've got some tool racks back here, and as I mentioned, there was an accessory for Han Solo, which of course is his parka hoodie, which I always thought was kind of awkward. Like, wouldn't that always be attached to his jacket? But, you know, it adds some nice dressing to the inside of the Falcon. Now, one thing that I was kind of curious if it would be easy to show in this or not, but you can see that there's a little landing pad here, and when you pull out this piece, it actually sends that landing pad down. I can't talk today. So you can see it's closed there, and when I pull out this piece, it pushes that landing gear down. So that's kind of cool. It's like the way to have the figures enter in. There's, of course, a little computer piece right here, which you can see. And overall, it's a very solid interior. Now, is it the most detailed Falcon to date? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. But it's still a very, very cool, you know, piece. So there's one more part here that I want to show you, and that, of course, is that turret that I mentioned earlier. So just kind of showing you how everything goes. Like, you can see that front cockpit literally just fell off. You know, she might not look like much, but she's got it where it counts. So moving the camera out here, you can see that there's that cockpit in there. There's, of course, a little computer there, a chair to set a minifigure in, and then you could just put this piece right on top there, and this would be the gun, supposedly, that they would turret. So it's a very cool set, and let's go ahead and zoom out, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this set. Alright guys, so by today's standards, if you could get this for a little over $100 and you don't have a Millennium Falcon, I do suggest this one. For me, it's pretty nostalgic. I remember my mom getting this for me at Target back in about 2004, 2005, something like that. and I remember just being the proudest kid in the store as we were wheeling the cart out and I was standing there next to it. So very, very cool. I guess that would have made me about 9 when I got this set. So now that I'm 24, it's definitely fun to rebuild this and have all those great memories from childhood again. So if you like the nostalgia factor, of course this is a great set. But, you know, if you're growing up now, you probably would prefer to have, like, the Force Awakens Millennium Falcon or something like that. Something that's got a little more detail and is a little more modernly built. So there's definitely a certain LEGO fan base that this is built for, but I'd be curious. Is this something that you guys think you'd want to pick up? Drop a comment below and let me know, and I will drop an affiliate eBay link in the description below. If you decide to pick this up, you can help support my channel at the same time. Alright guys, well thank you so much for checking out today's video. I'll see you on the next video, and until next time, build on.
If you liked what you saw and you liked what you heard, feel free to click that subscribe button for more LEGO content coming in the near future. So, thanks for tuning in to today's video, and until next time, build on.